Congratulations on all this. How fun. I thought the first season was great, but the second season's even better. So congrats.
See what I tell you.
Well, let's start with you, Mr. Joe Dante. What are your first thoughts in this era, having Gremlins come to life in a whole new way from what you started with back in the 80s?
I'm gratified and impressed that its latest iteration, which has been a long time coming, is an animated prequel, which I think is the cleverest way to handle the problems that come with making Gremlins movies. If this show was done live action, we'd still be shooting it. I mean, the things that are able to do in animation that we killed ourselves to do in live action. It's just, well, just rot, and it'll be fine. It's liberating. And I think the show is not only clever and really well, but it's artistic, and it's funny and it's witty, and it's everything that I would hope that another Gremlins movie would be.
I love that. Thank you for that. Z, did you know in season one or going in toward the end of season one or in between that you really wanted to take the series off like on kind of a road trip, or how did that come about?
Yeah, it was in the original pitch. We talked about season two, kind of creating that link between Shanghai and where we find Mr. Wing in the US in Joe's original movies. And yeah, I think in the pitch I was like, and it's going to be a true East meets West of the supernatural. I was like, oh, I really nailed it with that line. But it was something that we talked about, and we always thought was a goal, and we were very lucky that we got a season two pickup before we were finished with season one, and so we could even tease, Noggin going off in the ship that I think is called the San Franciscan, knowing that we were then going to follow him in season two.
I love that. Thank you. And Brendan and Z, can you both comment about bringing in this great group of guest stars here who fun. I mean, last season as well, but we have, Sam Liu here, Daniel, um, the man who played Daniel Clamp in the original John Glover, which is a great kind of, let's bring him back. Can you talk about maybe John and bringing Sam on and some others?
Sure. No, with John, again, the new batch really inspired a lot of what we wanted to do here for our season two in the sense of going a little bigger, wilder, and also standalone. That we had our kind of own take, our own point of view on what we were trying to do and on Gremlins. So uh, I'm a huge fan of the second movie. I'm a huge fan of John Glover's work there and on Smallville and everything that he's done, even Broadway. He's just such an amazing actor. Was always looking for a way to kind of bring him back, and in some way, if we could either echo or reference Daniel Clamp, it's just something I wanted to find a way to. And as we started, Z and I and the writers started breaking the season, we landed on that opportunity. And then even more conveniently, he happens to be the neighbor of our show's exec at Warner Brothers Animation. So it really just all signs and all roads just kept pointing to John Glover.
Yeah,
I
for
love
casting, he just walked up and knocked on the.
Just not that.
Yeah.
I love
It's
it 'cause
his person also. Yeah.
you have like Will Forte, Kelly Hu, and Jimmy O, and there's all sorts of great people. And the wonderful George Takei. Can you Z talk about how iconic it is for him to be in this, or how marvelous it is for him to be in this? His voice is so iconic.
It was one of these things where Brendan and I have talked about this a lot, where it's just, we haven't ever had this experience where almost every single actor in the show is our first choice, or who we pictured in the writer's room. And George Takei, he has a smaller role in season one, and we just loved what he did so much that in season two, we really wanted to make him a big part of the show. And from the very first record, from a lot of our voice cast, we were just, we wish that we could do, 20, 30 episode seasons so we could have them have their own kind of concept episode.
I love that. And Mr. Joe Dante, I wonder if you could talk about, is there anything you've done previously that you would love to see spun around again and given another take?
As an animated show, you mean?
as an animated show or even something in live action?
I was always disappointed that they never made a sequel to Inner Space,
Hmm.
which I think would lend itself to animation. But you know, you make these things and you sort of put them away, and then you know want to make something different, and and every so often they come back and say, "Come on, make another one," and I tend to not want to do that, although I did relax my guard and do Gremlins 2 because they said if I did it, they would let me do whatever I wanted. And I'm not sure they quite realized what I meant until they saw the movie. But you know it's a way of not repeating yourself while also commenting on what it is that you've previously done. So I think sequels have a great tradition. I mean, many of the pictures people revere are actually were sequels or remakes of pictures that maybe people don't remember as well. So there's plenty of opportunity in a sequel to build on what you started with, except for that phone. I hope it's not my agent.
It's Gremlins 3 or something big, you know. Joe, can you talk a little bit about Little Shop of Halloween Horrors or The Man with Kaleidoscope Eyes, these things that are coming on the horizon for you?
I can do that if you let me answer this phone, because otherwise it's going to just keep going.
Sure. That's it. That's it. Meanwhile, Brendan, and see if you were to create a possibility for season 3, is there something already in mind?
Yes, I mean, we've certainly talked a lot about season 3 and also subsequent seasons. You know, one of the things that's so great about setting it in 1920s China and then 1921-ish America is that there's so many years between the end of season 2 of Gremlins and Joe's original Gremlins 1. And so there's certainly so many stories to tell, so many places they can go. And we really wanted to build something where Sam and Elle get older every season and they mature, they're dealing with different things. And we think that there's so many stories to tell with these characters and within this world.
Beautiful. And Joe, how about any thoughts on Little Shop of Halloween Horrors and The Man with the Kaleidoscope Eyes? Those are two kind of big things on the horizon.
Well, the Man with Kaleidoscope Eyes has been on the horizon for over 10 years, and now that Roger has passed away, I think it's fading past the horizon. I don't think anything's going to happen with that. Little Shop of Halloween Horrors, which I think is now just called Little Shop of Horrors, is ongoing. We're casting now, and we're hoping to shoot in January.
It's exciting because it's a new spin on the very great classic. So that's awesome. Thank you all for your time today. It's a great pleasure to connect with you, and congrats on the second season.
Thank you, Greg.
Thanks,
Really
Greg.
appreciate it.